Hey guys, how's it going? Not quite sure what year this one is. I'm guessing this is an early 1960s, either a Simplicity or an Allis Chalmers push mower. It does not say anywhere on it what it is, so I'm thinking it's one of the two. And it does have a little label back here, but it doesn't say anything about what it is. So I'm assuming either Simplicity or Allis. It didn't even say it up here. All I know is it's a 3-horse, 3.5 horse. Not quite sure where I picked this up. I want to say it came from a yard sale, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't think I've messed with this one yet. I've had this around here for a while. So we're going to go through it. We're going to see how it looks. Just kind of give it an overall assessment. I imagine it should turn over. I feel like I did check that to make sure it did. This has a funny recoil setup on it. That's your recoil right there. Instead of it being on top of the flywheel, it's actually over here. There's a gear on your flywheel. This turns. It's set up kind of like an electric starter. But we pull it over and it does pull. That's pretty good, which is nice. Yeah. And I see that the bolt is out for the air filters, so we can just, whoa. Wonder if I put a new filter in that. What is that? I need a filter. Oh. I did replace the foam in this. No. Did I? I don't know if I did or not. That's not the correct foam, I'll tell you that right now. Huh. Interesting. Somebody's been in here. Choke's still there. Choke moves nice. Here's your throttle. Throttle looks to move good. I'm guessing this has a wind vane governor on it underneath of this cover. That's probably what it is. Here's our wheel look. It's got oil in it. That's a good sign. It looks a little dark. Yeah, it is a little dark. It looks alright, though it's got oil in it. Take it out and clean it off. So I guess the next thing to check would be the gas tank. See if it's got any gas in it at all, and we'll check spark next. That just fell apart. Empty. And it's got a little bit of something in it. Yeah, it's got a little bit of gas in there, not much. Interesting smell. Interesting smell to that. Let's pop the plug. Let's check it. Let's see if it's got spark. I don't see a kill switch on it anywhere, so I'm not quite sure exactly how you would kill it. Well, I know how I'm going to rig it. I'm going to run a switch up to the handlebars. This machine was built back when men were men and didn't give a fuck about safety. So let's just see. There we go. Put that off to the side. Hopefully this plug looks alright. It's not new. Looks like somebody's cleaned it. However, it may have a little bit of run time on it. Okay. There's a lot that I'm questioning about this, especially after seeing that air filter. Let's see if we got any spark. I don't know of a good way to get the camera in there to see it, so I'll tell you if it has spark. I see nothing. Nope. No sparks. I see no spark. So we'll have to get into that, unless we're just not getting a good enough around. Yeah, I doubt that. It couldn't be that easy, right? It wouldn't be a good video. So, yeah, there we go, no spark. I'm not sure about that carb. I probably will want to go through that. Maybe we'll go through it and look it over. Maybe we will just leave it alone. What all needs to come off? We just gotta take bolt, and that should come off. Let's see, I believe it to be a 7/16, yes. Cool. I don't think there's a screw underneath of the pull start, but I guess we'll find out. There shouldn't be one. If there is, then that would be pretty bright of them to do. This is an old Briggs. I can tell you it's an old Briggs by the way they have it set up. I hope it's a Briggs. If it's anything other than a Briggs. Oh boy. This is one that I almost just would not mind completely sanding down, repainting, and keeping here around the shop. Honestly, this is a neat one. Sand it down, repaint it, clean it up, make it look nice and presentable. There's your shroud. There's your starter right there, you can see. I don't know how well you can see the gear. Here's your wind vane, that's your governor. There's your coil. So would this have, other than a mouse nest, would this have points and condenser on it, or would this be a solid state unit with it? What do you have? You know, I just thought of it. I see a kill wire going over here to the throttle. I wonder if we just didn't have our... I wonder if it was being killed by the throttle now. As a last resort to see if we have spark. Let's see if we do. Yep, I thought so. We have spark now. So we have spark. I didn't even think about that, killing spark, but well, apparently it did. Since we have it off, however, I do want to take a second and go through and clean it up because, man, that's a mess. I think we might as well go on ahead as well and check the points if it has any. That actually looks pretty clean right there on the flywheel. I think somebody, I have a feeling somebody's been into this and they tried getting it running. How far into it they got, I don't know, but after seeing the filter and the plug and now the magnet, I'm really wondering if somebody's been into this thing already before us. How far they got into it, I have no idea. It beats me. Because yeah, that plug looks like it has been cleaned. If it's ever been run or not, I don't know. What do you say we put the cover back on it and we put a little bit of gas down the throat? See if it starts, and if it starts, go from there. Whether it be, I doubt it'll run off the gas in the tank already. So we'll have to change that out. Do we want to pull that carb? I'm sticking this back on here so that way our governor can work. Because if there's not any wind blowing on that governor, it's not going to govern the engine right. It's just going to run. It's just going to fly real fast. RPM. Which is not what I want. Come in. There we go. I always like coming across these ones that somebody has already been into and given up on. Not really in the slightest, because usually when someone gets into something and they stop, they've stopped for a reason. What that reason is, I don't know. And this mower seems like it had compression. Did we check it for compression? I think we did. And it turns good. So unless whoever did it just didn't know what they were doing, although they got into it pretty far looking at it. Don't know. However, I guess that's what we're going to find out today. Let's see if it pulls over nice and has compression. Yeah, it has compression. Cool. Which way was kill? I want to see that's open. Let's grab some gas and dump it down the cylinder and see what happens. Let's see. Do we think it's going to start? Let's find out, shall we? Okay. Let's give it a little more. I doubt it'll run off what's in that tank. I don't really think there's a whole lot in there to begin with. No, it's just enough to cover the bottom. Yeah, there's not enough in there for it to run off of. Let's see if it'll go. Sounds alright. Wants to. Why is it popping off like that? What do you say? Do we want to go through that carb, or do we just want to put it on the ground and see what happens? Let's just put it on the ground and see what happens. May as well. Went and grabbed some gas. Let's see about putting a little bit in it. I seriously doubt it's just going to take right off. That lid's falling apart. I might have another lid I can replace that with. Actually, I think I do. I think that should be enough to at least get it to take off. And I am going to replace this lid. I don't even think it needs that, but I'll do it in there anyway. Well, let's see what happens. Okay, I'm pretty satisfied with that. Let's see if it fires back up. So it looks like when the choke cuts off, it's dying. Could it just be cold? Maybe. Let's find out. No. It's flooding out. Yeah, now it's flooding out. So the way that this carb is set up, this is set up a little bit differently than a new one like what you would find on a modern push mower. The way they work now is they have a float bowl on them, and that float bowl fills up with gas, and there's a float that cuts off to stop fuel from coming in. The way that this carb is set up is actually, how do you take this off? There is a, give me a second, it's been a while since I've touched one of these. There's a thing inside the gas tank. The gas tank is a part of the carb, but you cannot run this without having that fuel tank on there. The way it's set up is the carb inside of the fuel tank is a little bowl. That bowl fills up with gas. There's a little pump inside of this carb with a hose that goes down into the tank down to the bottom. There's a little indent in here somewhere that goes down for it to suck the very last bit of gas out of that tank. It draws it up into the pump here and then into the bowl, and then from the bowl there's another little jet that pulls it up into the carb, and that's what it runs off of. I believe I got that right. I hope I got that right. I'm trying to remember how to get this off of here. I want to say that might be it right there. I remember it being very complicated to get one of these off. But again, it's been a while since I've touched one of these style engines. So this is kind of just relearning it. There might be one on the bottom also. Maybe. Yeah, there's another one. Where is it at? We may have to take... That's it right there. There we go. So once we get that bolt out, I think we have it all the way. Yes. There we go. So now we got to get this linkage out without losing any of that gas out of that tank. There we go. Let's take this over there and we'll get it pulled apart and we'll see what it looks like. So there should not be anything that we have to do inside that tank, or at least I'm hoping. The only thing we should have to mess with is up here. We got to take those screws out. That will get this off and separate this from the tank. So take these guys out. We should probably have this on and warming up. Now since I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking more than likely because inside here it's set up similar to a two-stroke carb where they have the little diaphragm. That's what this has inside there, so I'm thinking the diaphragm more than likely is going to need to be replaced. That's stuck. I don't know how far into it they got. Like I said before, I wonder if whoever was working on it before me had this problem and kind of stopped on it. Come on. There we go. We got it. Oh shit. We didn't unhook that. Oh well, we didn't need to. So this right here is your auto choke under this cover. I don't know if you see that moving or not. Then there's this is what sucks it in from the tank. That's what sucks it in from this little bowl right here. And there's a spring for your diaphragm. We don't need this. We need to drain the gas out of that actually. And that's still brand new gas, so I'm not going to be throwing that away. But this here diaphragm actually looks to be in okay shape. Underneath of this cover, let me grab a smaller. There we go. Look at that. There we go. And we'll just unhook that. And this cover should go down. But yeah, this is your diaphragm plate. Yeah, see? Right there's your diaphragm. It actually doesn't look too bad. We might be able to reuse that. Wonder if that unthreads. I doubt it. No, that don't unthread. I'm not even going to try it. I'm surprised that turned a little bit. I think I might throw that tank in there, maybe. That looks alright. I don't really see any problems. Get that out of there and then we'll pull the main jet. Should be a 1/2 inch. Yes. And you want to be careful not to bend or screw either of them up. That looks good. Yes, and right there's your... I've heard it called a motion tube. I've heard it called main jet. I'm not sure what you would call it. I'm just going to call it the main jet because that's what it is. I'm sure there's somebody out there who could tell me what this is, but I'm just going to call it the main jet. There you go. Yeah, it's not plugged, so it's good. See? That is the carb fully disassembled. I guess these do come out. I would think. They may not. I'm not going to force them if they don't want to come out. So, yeah. Let me get this dumped out, and then I'm going to throw that in the ultrasonic cleaner, and I'm going to clean it. I'm more than likely going to do the tank also. And then, yeah. Got that dumped out. I'm not sure if that's a good idea to put inside of here. Or what are you going to fit? I guess that's a good question. It wouldn't fit with everything else. I'm so tempted just to see if I can get that to come out. This could determine the fate of this mower right here, right now. No, that's not gonna go. How about this one? No, neither one of them are gonna go, and I'm not gonna force them either. So we want to put that in there also. How do we want, actually, how would you want this to go in there? Like that? And that works. Let's put that in there, and then once that's done, we'll put this in there. Sound good? Okay. Let's see about blowing all the shit out of these. I did plug off the intake and that. is one thing you want to do is clean out those fins, because if you don't, it'll overheat, warping your cylinder head and blow out your spark or your vent gasket. So here's something that might be interesting to do, and I'm not sure how loud it is, but the ultrasonic cleaner is sitting over there running. Let's go on ahead and put the mower and let's take a look at underneath and see how it looks. This could be interesting or bad. Let's see. Okay, that don't look horrible. It's got a little bit of shit. Other than just a little bit around the edges, I see it really doesn't look too bad. So I guess we could go on ahead and clean that out with a little scraper. And then once we get that cleaned out with a little scraper, not sure if I want to wire wheel under. Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea. Wire wheel it and then we'll coat it with some motor oil. Preserve it. Think this is going to come out? I'll be damned. It did. Whoa, that looks clean. That looks pretty good for what I'm looking at. Look at the top of it. There we go. Yeah, I would say that definitely needs to be sharpened up. I guess let's go on ahead and throw this blade back under here. You do want to make sure you put this on the right way. This is upside down. One way to tell is because these are facing down. You want that up like that. I still can't believe how good those threads look. I did not expect that. all done, so now we just gotta wait for that carb, and once that carb's done, we'll get this carb put back together. I took this out of the ultrasonic just now. You can see how well that cleaned up. Then you take a look at the bottom though, and it's still on there, but I put it in like that, not like this. I could put it in there like that if I wanted to, but it's just gonna get all dirtied back up again. So we want it like that. Here is our bottom section. I want it to go like so. There we go. And then we want to get, we're going to have to move that down. There we go. I know this is right side up because that's about the way it has to go. This is still movable, so I think our gasket in there should be fine. I don't see a reason to change it. However, if it starts to give me issues, then we'll consider replacing it. Oh, we gotta put this back. Oops. I forgot about that. I think that's how that goes. I don't think the gasket goes on top, but it might. And I believe that's all put back together the way it goes. There we go. And the choke appears to work. Cool. So now we just go around and put all of our screws in and get them tightened up. Let's see about getting this carb back on here. It shouldn't be too hard. All we need to do is hook our throttle linkage. And then where's the spring? Where'd the spring go? We're missing the spring. There it is. And the spring just hooks like that, and then it goes over to this. And then the spring is what sets your throttle. When you pull on that, it's what moves the throttle arm. It ain't the heaviest spring in the world, but it doesn't really need to be. So there we go, that's on there. Now we just gotta run the bolts in. There we go. There we go, like that. That's good and tight. There we go. So now I guess yeah, looks fine to me. So I guess let's go on ahead and get some gas put in it, then we will try starting it up and see how it runs. Oh boy. One thing I saw we missed, and this also will be the second time we are filling this thing up with gas. For anybody keeping track. Putting that on there. All the water should be out of it. See if it'll start. If it'll start, let's see if it'll stay running. Let me try adjusting that jet. Let's open it one turn. Let's see what it does. Ready? I would think it'd have started by now, so we may have ourselves another issue. I wonder if I just overfilled it with gas. I don't know if you see it or not, but it's leaking it out. I'm gonna try closing that jet up a little bit more. Let's go half. Let's just go half a turn. We may have lost spark. I would say we could try dumping some gas down the intake, but I seriously doubt that'll do anything. I'm watching it shoot it out up here. I would think if it was doing that, it would be getting gas. Yeah, like I thought. Well, what's our plug? It's not wet at all. A little, maybe a little bit. Just to get what might be in there out. See if it has spark still. Oh yeah. We got spark still. So spark's not the problem. Let's throw a different one in it. Don't need it to be very tight, but so I don't believe it's a plug spark problem. It's got to be a fuel problem. Could it just be it has too much gas in it? So I think my current thought is it's getting too much gas, which could be because of a few things. I'm wondering if it's that diaphragm inside that car. I'm wondering that, or maybe that spring that we stuck in there, we put it in wrong. I don't know. So I want to pull that back apart. And I just want to look at it real quick. I want to make sure that we didn't mess that area up. But that's really the only area I can think of it being. So, where does that area fall? I don't think it's anything to do with that diaphragm. Where is this? Where does this go? I wonder. I believe that goes right there. You wouldn't think that this isn't upside down into that. But I wonder if the spring is supposed to go behind. This case. I wouldn't think so, but I guess we're about to find out. Let's see. Does that line up right? Yeah, that one's up. Still got gas in it from earlier. Take two. We flipped around that spring. Now when I see it pissing gas out again. Wait a minute. I heard it that time. It seemed like it wanted to a couple times. Shit. Well, we got something. That's better than nothing. Quarter turn. Let's see if that does anything. So right now it's running rich. That's what I've noticed. I need to fix that choke, and then once we get it running decent enough, I can get into it and get the jet adjusted to where it needs to be. I think right now we're still getting a little bit too much fuel. I need to get in there and check that choke real quick. So let me get that took care of, and then once I do the choke and everything else, I will bring the camera back and we'll try starting it up again. Sound good? Okay. I flipped that choke and I have a screwdriver in hand. Let's go on ahead and see if we can get this thing to start, and if we get it to start, we can adjust that. We can adjust that jet. Ready? Earlier was the closest we got. So I have decided we're just going to go on ahead and pull the flywheel. I believe this engine has points. I'm not completely sure if it does or not, but I think that's just going to be the next step because it's obviously getting gas. I keep seeing fuel come out of it. I've messed with the carb in a few different ways and it's just not taking off no matter what way I try. So I thought we'll go on ahead and dive into it a little bit further, and we'll get under here. I want to see if it has points and condenser. I believe it does, but I'm not 100% sure. Maybe we'll decide just to put a new coil on it. Not a new coil, but a new solid state unit. Because the way that this is set up right now, technically it's a magneto. Technically, in a way, it's a magneto. Because it's got this here which generates voltage off of the flywheel. Kind of similar. Well, I don't know if it'd be the same as a magneto or not. I really had a magneto apart. Stuck to that magnetically. Do I get that to come out? That wasn't supposed to come out of there, it was supposed to stay. So hopefully whatever we determine from this will tell us if this engine is worth saving. Nothing. In a chat I'm in, I was being accused of doing some things. We were joking around with each other. And the response I just got from Nate made me laugh. Sorry. Alright, I feel better. Or, not that I got, the accuser got. I won't say who the accuser was. Where is that fucking... There it is. Let's see about getting this off of here. That surprises me. I didn't think that would come off. So the way that we're going to do this, no, it's not going to come off. I was hoping it would. There are ways of doing this. This is mine. Just wedge a crowbar under it and not hammer. Oh, that did loosen it. Never mind. I was going to wedge that under it and then hit it with the thing right here to get it to come loose, but okay. Yeah, it's got points like I thought it did. Flywheel looks to be in good shape. Oh, it's got two surfaces. That's interesting. I didn't know they made them like that. I always thought they just had one. Hurry up with this so I can look at that and see what was said. That looks fine. I don't see any issues underneath of here. Alright, let's see about getting this filed. I don't see an issue down here or even a reason to replace these. Well, maybe I should, since we're under here, just go on ahead and replace the points and condenser. Nah, we want to see it run with what it has. At least that's the way that I want to do it. I want it to run with whatever it's got. I know that there's people out there who like to replace everything. I'm not a fan of that. I like to get it running with whatever it has. And that, to me, I could have swore that just opened, but it didn't look like it did to me at all. Let's just see, what was I looking for? My sandpaper. I think I want to adjust these points. Okay, something's not right about this. Ooh. Let's just take that off. Let's just take a look. I have no idea what I'm getting into right now. I don't think, however, it is supposed to be unhooked from this like it is. I'm pretty certain that that is supposed to be attached to this, which it apparently is not. Huh. Well, maybe it is supposed to move on its own. Don't know. I want to clean that contact up a little bit though, and I want to do that one also. I'm not sure how to set the point gap on one of these, but I guess we'll figure it out. Alright, well, I guess let's just see what happens. Moral of the story, I should have just left it alone and not touched it. But obviously, I don't learn my lesson until it's too late. I'm pretty certain actually that's supposed to be like that. I think this is supposed to be attached, but again, if it was attached and you go to tighten that down, well, that's not going to turn. It's not going to, oh, fuck. I put it on backwards. No, I didn't. That's probably what that spring's there for. I need somebody with small fingers and big eye and good eyes. Maybe I should start hiring people. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Let's see. There we go. I was gonna say, I feel like that's supposed to go through there. I think, let's see, there we go. There. I think we have it now the way it should be, I think. They have that set up kind of funny, in my opinion. Let's open the gap. I think the gap would be at 20. That just moved. Let's open. No idea what that is and why it's there. Let's see what the gap is on those. Let's see about 20 thousandths is what I'm going to assume this needs to be. That's 19. That would make this 20. Okay. Come on. And then I would guess to adjust it, you'd loosen that and slide that condenser. I would say that's alright to me. Now whether that was the problem before or not, I have no idea. I guess we'll figure it out though. You know what I just noticed? Oh, here's the key. I was gonna say I don't see a key anywhere, but I believe I just found it. Thinking maybe the key got lost and that was our problem. Let's throw this back together. I'd like to know where my other driver went. Don't feel like the. I guess that'll work. It's gonna have to for what we're doing. There we go. It's got a little bit of wobble to it, however, hopefully. Alright, well, I guess we can pull it over and see if we still have spark. I'm hoping we do. I don't see why we wouldn't. Oh, we got good spark. Alright, cool. So I would say, hopefully now, it should work. It actually looks better than it did before. So, yeah, I would say that that will hopefully fix our problem. So I'm going to get this put back together. Yeah. I'm going to get this put back together, and then once I'm done doing that, I'll bring the camera back and we will try starting it up and see how it goes. So let's go on ahead and let's see if this thing will start. I got it all pieced back together. Hopefully. I'm not even going to say anything. I heard that. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Well, shit. Nope. So, yeah. I wonder if there was a reason why this thing was parked. I'm trying to think of what would be the next step. We've heard it pop off a couple times. I think it's a carb related issue. Jet is completely closed. It should not be running right now. Something is not right with that car. I wonder if that kill switch works. I just kind of sat there and just started yanking on it for a little while. Just yanking on it, not letting it stop. And I got it to go. So I pulled the camera to do some recording and try to find the fine point in that carb. I messed with it for a while and I got it to start. And as you saw, we were messing with it. And I had that jet closed all the way, and there was absolutely no change in that, the way it ran. So I'm kind of on the fence right now of what step do I want to take next. I'm starting to wonder about that carb, if we have a problem there or if it's somewhere else. I have another engine we can pull the carb off of and look at. No, it's not that one sitting next to it. I got to go around back and grab it. So let me run around back and grab that engine, and we'll pull the carb off of it, and we'll go through it, see what it looks like. Maybe it'll be a direct fit and we can throw it on here and see how it does, or maybe we'll figure out that there is something catastrophically wrong with this engine. So yeah, let's see what we find. So I'm not sure how similar these two are. I don't really think I've looked at this one over at all. This kind of came along with another one that I got, and well, it sat around back until just now when I decided I needed it. Let's take a look at this one. It's got an okay filter in it. Oh, it's got a primer bulb. Whether we'll be able to use that or not, I don't know. This carb might be different than the one that we have currently. No gas in the tank. So my question is, would we be able to swap this carb onto that engine? This carb and more than likely that fuel tank. My answer currently appears to be no. I do not think we would be able to do that. Look at this. Well, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how similar they are. That was the idea. I also notice it's plastic and it's got this primer bulb. Let's just take it into the other room, I guess. We might as well. I'm gonna get that carb off there, and once I get that carb off there, we'll drag it into the other room and we'll just see what we find. So here's the carb off of that red mower that we had in there. I don't think this would work on ours, although at the same time, I'd be willing to try it. This one would obviously need some work. I don't like the fact that that's plastic. I don't know how well that would survive in the ultrasonic. How much different would that be inside compared to the other one? I can guarantee that by the fact this is plastic. There's your diaphragm on this engine. I would think that these heads are able to be loosened. On this one it is. Maybe. There's no adjustment on this head. You can't adjust this carb. Huh. That's great. Inside looks good and clean. Let's take that off. I don't know. maybe this one would run. There's nothing in it. What do you think? Do we want to try that one and see what happens with it? We could even put some water in it or something and just try that primer bulb out. I'd go on ahead and assume the primer assembly works. Let's go on ahead and let's see if this thing will start. Hopefully it'll start or do something. If it ends up running off, I'll just switch over here and kill it. Ready? Pretty well, don't you agree? We got to find a way to hold that open more. I think I would consider that a success. That ran pretty good. So, what do we think is the problem with the other carb though? At least we know it's a carb problem at this point and it's not anything else with the engine. Everything else on there looked fine. Let me think about it for a little bit, and if I come up with a solution, I will put it on here. If I don't, and it ends up just being better to run this carb, maybe we'll just go with this one and see how it goes. But yeah, it ran pretty good, so I gotta give it that. So here's some updates on this little garbage pick to push mower. I know in the last video we were trying to figure out a way to keep it maintain RPM. In the middle of doing this, I thought, maybe I should pull the camera out and film it, but it was already a little bit too far into it and thought, I'll just do it. I stuck the throttle cable on here, as you can see, and it actually works and moves everything pretty well. Down is full, up is idle, and kill. So we're going to try that, and we're going to see how it does, if that'll help it maintain RPM, and also, don't know. Ready? See if it starts. Might want to prime it. I'm thinking 3 pumps. think I'm gonna say I'm pretty happy with that. That works pretty good. So now I need to find an air filter for it. I would take it out and do some mowing with it, but at the moment, like I said, I don't have an air filter, and also the grass is currently dead. So there's really no point at the moment in taking it out and doing any mowing. But other than the air filter and dead grass, I would say this one is pretty well set and ready to go. So one thing I want to do while I'm thinking about it is I want to go on ahead and change the oil in this machine. I was sitting there thinking about it, and I thought, you know, it probably still has the original oil in it from 1960 something. So why not go on ahead and get that changed? And I've got some oil to put in it. I don't know what the correct oil would be for this machine. I'm just gonna put 10W. Coming out of that. Interesting. I'm just gonna put 10W50 in it, or what? What did I say? I said I'm gonna put 15W40 in it. That's what I've been putting in everything lately, and this is an older engine, so it probably wouldn't hurt it to have a little bit thicker of an oil, I would guess, stuck in it. The older engines tend to like a little bit of a thicker oil, it seems. I want to say I let it run for about half an hour. So it should be nice and warmed up, so the oil should drain out of it. Hopefully pretty easy. I don't see why it wouldn't. I guess you never know. So we'll get our little thing here cleaned out. Hopefully that should sit on top of that. I don't see why it wouldn't. Now, I'm not sure who all out there watches Musty One. That's somebody who I watch. I like his channel. The way that he does it, there's a lot of different ways to drain oil out of one of these. Some people drain it out the dipstick tube. I've always liked to just go on ahead and do it through the hole on bottom, because that's where it is designed to be drained. That, and in my opinion, it's better to loosen that plug, that way it doesn't get stuck in there over the course of time. I think he's a pleasant mess. So let's see. There we go. That sounds like it's draining quite fast. Wonderful. I have a feeling there was gas in that oil. I'm gonna let that set for a little bit, but I want to check it. Yep, I bet there was gas in that oil. Hopefully there's no damage done to that engine. Oh, look at that. It'll set on it. Awesome. I'm gonna let that drain for a while, and then we will come back. Hopefully no damage happened to it. So let's go on ahead and see about putting oil in this engine. I've let it set for probably going on about an hour now. Let's go on ahead and flip it up and see what came out of it. I started experimenting a little bit on it with some Scotch-Brite pads, just to see if I could figure out a good way of getting rust off of it with some purple power, just to kind of play with it a little bit. I think there was definitely gas in that oil, looking at that. And then wherever I put the plug, another thing I also went ahead and did is where's that plug? There it is. But another thing I did is I went and cleaned up the plug so the threads on it are good. So we'll tighten that up and it should be just fine. Let's put some oil in it, and then once we get the oil put in it, I guess we'll try starting it up and we will see how it runs, if it runs good or if it gives us problems. I'm not sure where the pull line is on this, seeing that it doesn't have a dipstick, I'm guessing more than likely just to the top of the fill right here. If I had to guess, that would be where I would say it is. So here's the oil that came out of that engine. It actually don't look too bad. It's not all milky, which is good. That's one thing I was concerned about. I don't really see anything. It's a little thin. Yeah, now I'm seeing stuff. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that on camera or not, but it's got a little bit of a metallic rainbow to it. Yeah, that had gas in it. You can tell by how thin it is. Yeah, I thought there was gas in that oil. You can even smell it on there. So yeah, there was gas in that oil. So that explains a little bit. Let's try starting it up and, well, let's see where it goes from here. So a little bit of an update on this little push mower. I ended up taking the foam that originally came out of that air filter housing and I stuck it back in there. I know that's not the correct way of doing it, but we're gonna try it. I wanna take this out and I wanna do a little bit of mowing with it. I know it's the beginning of February, but I just wanna try it, make sure it works good. I'm not trying to cut any grass, but you know, I just wanna see, walking it around out there, make sure it works good and going over bumps and things, it doesn't screw up and die. So let's take it out there and let's just see what happens, how it runs, and maybe if it cuts something. I don't know. And this is after it's been setting for a couple days, so I guess we get to see how it starts after setting. I would say it works pretty good. Alright guys, I think it's going to do it for the video. I want to thank all you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. If it's your first time checking out the channel, please consider going down below, hitting that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a thing. It tells YouTube that you guys like the videos and want to see more. It also tells myself that you guys like the videos and want to see more. I would do a little bit more with this thing, such as clean it up a little bit, get the rust off of it. However, like I've said, it's a little bit early in the season to be running a pressure washer right now, and I really don't want to be scrubbing on this thing in the freezing temperatures, so I'll wait until I get a nice warm day and some time to do it. I would film that, but I'm sure that's not really that interesting and nobody probably cares to see it, so But yeah, we got it running, and it runs actually fairly well. So yeah, there you go. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Take care.